California is once again at the center of the nation's automotive and energy policy debate, with federal electric vehicle or EV tax credits set to expire at the end of this September. The state is considering whether to create its own replacement program, and this would not only affect car buyers, but it could also reshape the national conversation on emissions rules, vehicle affordability, and the balance of power between state and federal regulators. And here we go again. The California Air Resources Board, known as CARB, released a report on August 19th recommending that the state consider, in quote, backfilling the federal credits with its own point-of-sale rebates, vouchers, or incentives to keep EV sales moving. I think that really means increased taxes, because taxes are not high enough in California or the other states that follow. But the details remain vague, of course, until the absolute end at midnight when they pass and no one knows about it. But the intention is clear. California wants to keep its aggressive zero-emissions vehicle or ZEV goals on track, even as Washington scales back related programs. But California has been here before, and this is not the first time the state has clashed with the federal government over vehicle regulations, and likely will not be the last. Before I tell you why this matters, here's a quick word from our video sponsor. It turns out that the key to losing weight and keeping it off is not carbs or fat or even probiotic-rich foods. The end game is having a healthy weight, more energy, and long, healthy life. And it comes down to a specific switch you can flip in your body to flush out unnecessary calories. Dr. Gundry calls this caloric bypass. He's seen thousands of people with dramatically improved health, even at the age of 50 or beyond. And this includes losing weight, getting tons more energy, and returning to the good health they had in their youth, once they simply address this one key to better health. Not only that, this is actually associated with improving digestion, stronger joints and muscles, smoother skin, and healthier lives, meaning it could be the key to a happy life. Dr. Stephen Gundry has lost 70 pounds himself using his research and has kept the weight off for over 20 years and counting. His digestive issues are gone, his health is fantastic, and he feels younger and healthier today than he did in his 40s. His video has been watched by over 20 million people, and you can watch and learn more about it at thehealthyfat.com/car. It's linked at the bottom of this video. He'll teach you exactly how he has kept off his weight for free at thehealthyfat.com/car. California has a unique history when it comes to vehicle emissions. Decades before the federal government created the Environmental Protection Agency, or the EPA, California has already regulated air quality in response to its smog problem. When the Clean Air Act passed in 1970, California was granted a waiver that allowed it to set its own stricter emission standards, and other states were given the option to adopt California's rules, and some states have done so. Others have just moved on. Today, 11 states follow California's lead, and this waiver authority has made California an outsized force in shaping vehicle propulsion. Automakers cannot ignore a market of this size, which means California's rules often become de facto national standards. No matter what state you live in, we're all dealing with this. And California's regulatory independence has not always sat well with Washington. Under different administrations, the federal government has either supported or resisted the state's authority. During the Obama years, California partnered with the federal government to create a unified fuel economy and emissions program, giving automakers a single set of national rules. Under the Trump administration, the EPA rolled back certain emission standards, sparking legal battles with California, which insisted on enforcing its own tougher rules. The state formed alliances with other states and even some automakers to defend its position. We've covered that in the past. But today, with the federal EV tax credits expiring at the end of September and policy focus shifting, California is again stepping into the driver's seat by proposing its own financial incentives. These ongoing disputes highlight a deeper question. Should environmental and automotive policy be driven by national uniformity or by one state acting as a policy leader? And I think you know my answer to that, and I hope it's the same as yours. The discussion over tax credits cannot be separated from California's ZEV mandate. And under CARB's plan, automakers must steadily increase the percentage of EVs they sell, with the ultimate goal of phasing out new gasoline-powered vehicles by 2035. That is out the door. We have covered that. But this is one of the most ambitious plans in the country, and automakers are scrambling to meet the needs because they're caught in the middle. Some states, such as New York and Massachusetts, have pledged to follow California's lead no matter where it goes, while others remain very skeptical. For consumers, this means that vehicle availability will increasingly be shaped by government mandates and not what the market demands. Even if gas-powered vehicles remain popular, automakers will need to balance the demand with regulatory compliance. Now, we know there's been some changes. Car manufacturers are making a mix of vehicles. Some are pulling back. Some have totally walked away from EVs. But a mix is always a good thing for you, the consumer. The CARB report suggests that any new program would differ from the federal credits in key ways. Instead of tax credits, buyers could receive point-of-sale rebates, allowing them to benefit immediately rather than waiting until tax season. Incentives may vary depending on income level, vehicle type, or price, so luxury EVs could receive lower rebates while affordable models could get more support. Additionally, any new program would be tied to yearly funding available, which is always an issue, meaning that if the budgets tighten, rebates could shrink or disappear. And this approach could make the system more flexible, but it also introduces uncertainties for buyers trying to plan their purchases. And in the past, the state of California, as well as other states, have run out of money in the EV fund, and they left buyers holding the bag. And that could be a problem not just for car makers, but also for buyers. For California residents, the promise of continued incentives is welcome news, but the reality is more complicated. EVs still come with challenges beyond the sticker price. Even with rebates, EVs are often thousands of dollars more expensive than comparable gasoline or hybrid cars, and California has built more chargers than any other state. Yet, many regions remain underserved, and home charging is not always an option, particularly for renters. EVs also tend to depreciate faster than gasoline vehicles due to rapid advances in technology and concerns about battery life. Insurance rates are higher on electric vehicles as well. And a large expense is electricity rates, which are going up across the country and very high in California as it is. Without a state-supported used EV credit, buyers in this segment face steeper hurdles. Incentives may help address some of these issues in the short term, but they do not solve the bigger structural challenges for EV adoption. One of the key criticisms of EV subsidies is that they often benefit wealthier households. Data from federal programs show that a large percentage of credits went to buyers in higher income brackets because those households are more likely to purchase new vehicles, and EVs remain disproportionately concentrated in premium market segments. California may attempt to address this with scaled incentives, but questions remain about whether the system can truly deliver benefits to everyone. Meanwhile, working-class families who rely on affordable used cars may find themselves subsidizing programs they can't realistically take advantage of. That means their taxes go higher too, but they don't get any benefit from it. For automakers, California's decisions carry immense weight. The state accounts for nearly 12% of U.S. auto sales, and when you include other states that follow its rules, the market share becomes impossible to ignore. Manufacturers that fail to meet California's requirements face penalties, while those that comply can earn credits to sell or to trade. This system has created an uneven playing field, favoring companies with strong EV lineups. Tesla, for instance, has profited significantly from selling ZEV credits to competitors in the past. Although much of that has gone away, especially on a federal level, if California establishes a robust new rebate program, it could further tilt the market toward EVs, encouraging automakers to prioritize them even more, taking greater losses on each vehicle because the rest of the country doesn't want them. And even if demand in other states lags, they'll be forced to make product they take a loss on. Again, this is why cars are so expensive. But at its core, this debate is about whether government policy should drive technology adoption or whether the market should dictate the pace. Obviously, the latter is where it should be, but California argues that aggressive incentives and mandates are necessary to address climate goals and push the auto industry forward. Critics counter that these policies distort the market, which they do, forcing automakers and taxpayers to shoulder the costs that may not align with consumer demand. They also warn of unintended consequences such as reduced affordability, lack of charging stations, and strained electrical infrastructure. Cost of electricity is just going to keep getting higher, and there's a shortage already in California. If you've ever been through a brownout, you understand. California's proposal to replace expiring federal EV tax credits with state-funded incentives is the latest chapter in a decade-long story of the state asserting its role as the nation's automotive regulator. With its ZEV mandate and aggressive environmental policies, California is pushing automakers, consumers, and policymakers to adapt, whether they're ready for it or not. Even though President Trump has taken away much of their power, they're still not done with the state of California. I expect more pushback from the federal government. For some wealthier car buyers, this could mean continued financial support when purchasing an EV, but it also raises questions about long-term effectiveness. For taxpayers, it means another debate about where funds should be directed and increased taxes for residents across the entire state or in any state that aligns with this. For the auto industry, it underscores more losses in vehicles that are designed by one state's demands. As history shows, when California moves, the rest of the country often feels the impact. The next few months will reveal whether the state can successfully design a program that keeps EV sales going without overburdening its citizens with more increased taxes. But one thing's for certain, decisions made in California will burden at least 11 other states, and this is the real issue to watch. If you like this video, give it a like and subscribe for more videos like this, and check out our car review channel, Car Smarts. You can support me by buying me a cup of coffee, and if you want even more content, check out the links in the description. I'm Lauren Fix. Thank you so much for watching.